Imagine two teenagers. One has $0, the other has $1,000. Most people would assume the second teenager is already winning the money game. But 10 years later, the teenager who started with nothing is wealthier. Not because they got lucky, not because they inherited money, and definitely not because they found some secret crypto coin hiding in a Discord server. They simply understood something most adults never do. Money is not the first thing you invest, attention is. And that's where this story begins. Because if you're a teenager with $0, the biggest financial mistake you can make is believing that you need money to start investing. That sounds backwards, almost ridiculous, like saying you need muscles before you can go to the gym, yet millions of people spend years waiting for the right time to start. The right salary, the right amount saved, the right opportunity. Then one day they wake up and realize they're 30 years old, still waiting. Meanwhile, someone else started with nothing and now has a head start they can never fully catch. Here's why. When people hear the word investing, they immediately think about stocks, maybe real estate, maybe crypto, maybe a guy on social media standing next to a rented Lamborghini. But investing is much broader than that. At its core, investing means giving up something today to get more tomorrow. That's it. And if you have $0, there is still one thing you control: time. In fact, teenagers possess something investors desperately want: an absurd amount of time, the kind of time that compounds, the kind adults would pay fortunes to get back. Let's do some uncomfortable math. Imagine a teenager learns a valuable skill at 16. Video editing, coding, graphic design, writing, sales, anything useful. Now imagine they spend 1 hour every day improving that skill. 1 hour, not 10, not 12, just one. By the time they're 21, they've invested over 1,800 hours. That's enough to become genuinely good at something. Good enough that strangers will pay for it. Good enough that opportunities start appearing from nowhere. Except they aren't appearing from nowhere. They're appearing from compound interest, just not the kind people usually talk about. Most financial advice skips this step. It jumps straight to stock portfolios. But here's the irony. The best performing investment available to most teenagers isn't a stock it's themselves. And unlike stocks, this investment can increase your future income dramatically. Think about it. If you buy $10 worth of a stock and it doubles, congratulations. You made $10. If you learn a skill that raises your earning ability by even a few $100s per month, that effect can last for decades. One investment changes a number in an account. The other changes your entire earning power. And that's where the real game begins. Because eventually, skills create income. Income creates savings. Savings create investments. Most people try to reverse that order, and it rarely works. Now, this is the point where social media usually enters the story. Someone tells you to start day trading. Someone else promises you can turn $5 into 5,000. Someone mentions a coin you've never heard of. And suddenly, investing starts sounding less like building wealth and more like buying lottery tickets. Here's the reality. The less money you have, the more dangerous bad investments become. A billionaire can survive losing $1,000. A teenager with $20 cannot afford to lose all of it repeatedly chasing shortcuts. The financial world has a strange sense of humor. The people with the least money are often targeted by the riskiest opportunities. Because desperation sells, patience doesn't. So what should a teenager actually do? First, invest in knowledge, not endless motivational content, not productivity hacks, actual useful knowledge. Learn how businesses work. Learn why companies make money. Learn what stocks really are. Learn basic accounting. Learn how taxes work. Understand money before risking money. Second, invest in skills. Skills create leverage. Leverage creates income. Income creates options. And options are one of the most valuable assets anyone can own. Third, when money finally arrives, start small, very small. This is where many people quit, because investing $50 feels insignificant. But that's another illusion. Nobody looks at a seed and complains it's not a tree. The entire purpose of investing is growth over time. The amount matters far less than the habit. Let's imagine two teenagers again. One waits until age 25 to start investing because they finally have enough money. The other starts learning at 16, earns small amounts online, invests tiny amounts consistently, and spends years understanding markets. By 25, they may not be rich, but they possess something more valuable: experience. And experience compounds too. Every mistake teaches something. Every investment teaches something. Every cycle teaches something. That's difficult to quantify, but it matters a lot. Now let's zoom out, because there's a bigger reason this topic matters today. Previous generations could often rely on a simple formula: get a job, save money, buy a house, retire. Today's world looks different. Technology changes industries overnight. Skills become obsolete faster. Competition is global, and attention has become an economic asset. A teenager in a bedroom can build an audience larger than some traditional media Companies, they can sell services to clients across the world. They can learn almost any skill for free online. That's never happened before in human history, which creates a strange situation. Teenagers have access to more opportunity than ever and more distraction than ever. The same phone that can teach you investing can also consume 6 hours of your day without leaving any evidence. It happened. That's the hidden battle. Not money versus poverty, attention versus distraction. Because attention determines learning, learning determines skills, skills determine income, income determines investments, and investments determine future wealth. The chain starts much earlier than most people realize. So, can you invest with $0 as a teenager? Technically, yes, but probably not in the way you expected. The first investment isn't a stock, it isn't crypto, it isn't real estate. It's where your time goes when nobody is watching. Because 10 years from now, your bank account may look completely different, but it will likely reflect the investments you're making today, even if those investments aren't measured in dollars. And that's the strange truth most people discover too late. The people who appear to have started with money often started with something else: knowledge, skills, experience, attention, things that don't look like investments until years later. The question is not whether you're investing. Everyone is investing something: time, energy, focus. The real question is this: if every hour of your life is an investment, what exactly are you buying with it?